Hey gang, welcome to the channel. Today we are test driving the Kia Soul EV. Well, this car has been supplied by Car and Cab Care once again, and this is another fully electric vehicle. So first impressions, this is quite a nice car. And when you hear the name Kia, you don't automatically think, ooh, that's a nice car. But this is definitely a nice car. Now the Kia Soul EV comes with a 280 mile range, which is good enough to get you, well, 280 miles. It's basically the same kind of territory as a Tesla, which would be much more expensive. So that's very impressive. So I've been told before picking this car up that it is a nicer car to drive than the previous electric vehicle I test drove from Car and Cab Care, which was the MG5, which I was very impressed with. Not only was I impressed with the MG5 for its performance and for its size, but also for the fact it was very well priced at £23,500. Now, this Kia Soul EV is more expensive than the MG5 and a snippet under £30,000 from Car and Cab Care. However, it is a much better spec. It is significantly bigger, apart from the boot, which is a little bit shallower, but it is a tall boot, so you can get plenty in it. The drive itself feels a bit more assured, a bit more steady. Let's have a go with this acceleration. It should be instant. Oh crap, here we go. Woo! Well, these electric vehicles don't half shift. They really do shift. I was I was out driving in my Ford Mondeo yesterday with a conventional diesel engine, with someone in a Hyundai Ioniq full electric vehicle just screamed past me at a set of traffic lights. It was very embarrassing. However, when you're doing the embarrassing, that's okay. So let's have a little talk about the fact this car is a Kia. Now 20 years ago, I would not have dreamed of even driving a Kia. Definitely wouldn't have dreamed of owning one. But Kias over the past 20 years have taken such a leap forward, not just in design, but also in technology. Kias these days are just such better cars, and they really are on a par with the mainstream Fords, Vauxhalls, Fiats, Renaults. And the build quality in this car, I'm really impressed with. I remember a friend of mine having a Kia Rio that was like a 2002 and just thinking it was the worst thing in the world. And I knew someone a couple of years ago who had a next generation Kia Rio, I think it was around 2010, and it was just horrid. I really hated it. I hated being in it. Did not like it one little bit. But this Kia Soul EV is really well put together. All the materials used seem quality. Nothing at all seems cheap. But the reason nothing seems cheap is that it's not cheap. This car comes in at just under £30,000, which for the technology this car has is actually very reasonable. A 280 mile range is similar to a Tesla Model 3. And what you pay for a Tesla Model 3 these days, 45 grand. So I suppose in a way, it is cheap. It's just not cheap for a Kia. However, despite the price, despite the badge on the bonnet, I can't help but be impressed with this car straight away. As soon as you even look at the car, it looks like a really nice motor. It looks like nothing you've ever seen before. There's so much attention to detail. It really is a stunning looking motor. Obviously some people aren't going to like it. It's a bit like a Postman Padman mixed with a Range Rover, mixed with the front end of a muscle car, mixed in with some futuristic shit. However, I think it looks just fantastic. And I know a lot of other people who share my opinion, and understandably, as it really is a good looking car. Well done Kia, you've done well. In case you guys can't tell, that reviewing a car whilst you're driving it is actually a little bit tricky. Even keeping the camera steady on the windscreen is a bit tricky. Trying to concentrate on what you're saying while driving is a little bit tricky. Which I find unusual because I'm used to driving around and talking utter wallop. But anyways, I'm also used to driving around with a 6-year-old going, Dad, Dad, Daddy, Daddy, Dad, 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 Dad. However, when it comes to talking about the car I am driving whilst driving it, that seems to be at a bit of a loss. My apologies. Now, I haven't got this car for all that long today, unfortunately, so I can't tell you absolutely everything about it, but I can tell you the basics. If you purchase this car from Car and Cab Care, if you're a taxi driver or private hire driver, it costs you just under £30,000. I can tell you that it's a fantastic looking car. You might not think so yourself, but I think it's epic looking. I can tell you it is spacious and it is lovely inside and it is nice to drive. I can tell you it is definitely pokey. It definitely shifts when you plant your right foot. Absolutely shifts. I can tell you it's got a 280 mile range, which is similar to a Tesla, which is a lot more money, which is incredible. I can tell you it handles surprisingly well. I can tell you it's got an awful lot of kit. I can tell you this seat is surprisingly comfortable. This seat is electrically operated for everything you can imagine. I don't know if it does a massage, but other than that, I think it will do pretty much anything. And it is comfy. I can tell you there's a lot of engine braking. I can tell you the colour this particular car comes in, the blue, is absolutely gorgeous and it really does pop. I can tell you Kia have come an awful long way in the past 20 years. An awful long way. Right. I can tell you this car is actually quite a lot of fun, especially when you plant it. Woo! Absolutely shifts this thing. Absolutely. Now this is not the kind of car I expect to see heading down the motorway doing 100 miles an hour. The kind of car I expect to see people tooting around in doing 60 as they're environmentally conscious. Not that I'm doing 100 miles an hour, by the way. However, you'll see more and more these days hybrid cars, electric cars being driven quickly, because they're not just being bought by people who are environmentally conscious, they're not just being bought by people who want to save money. A lot of them now are being bought by people who appreciate a quality car regardless as to the powertrain. And this is a good quality car, and it's a fun car, and it's plenty of power, and it handles fantastically, and the interior is spacious and a nice place to be. Even if you're not concerned with saving money, even if you're not concerned with being environmentally friendly, even if you're not concerned about future-proofing yourself, even if any of those things, this is still an excellent vehicle. And you will save a tremendous amount of money on fuel. Absolute tremendous amount of money. Now, would I buy a Kia Soul EV? Truthfully, probably no. If I was looking for a new car that was cheap to run and big enough for what I need, and something a bit unusual, as I've already said, I would definitely buy the MG5. I would be very, very tempted by the MG5. I think that car is epic value for money. And after seeing it in white today, I must say it's also a fantastic looking car too.